if you have to go to the bathroom or you have to leave for whatever reason, I know it could be a nuisance to a lot of people, especially if you are walking through people, in front of people, and all that stuff like that. And I know maybe your first instinct is, I don't want to distract someone's view. So let me hunch over and try to, not be a distraction. Believe it or not, at least to me personally, you end up becoming more of a distraction by showing me that you're trying not to be a distraction, because some people do it in a way that I actually find kind of laughable.
This guy. If you saw me do it, you'd be like, this guy thinks he's in the military and he's crouch walking. Like it's a Call of Duty, pressed B one time. And I was just going to go, just hoping no one notices. If
Oh
you
my
can do it in a
God.
way where you're fully out of the line of sight from everyone, if you're going to do a full crawl
Yeah.
and Renee can't see you, he'll be fine with it. But if he
Yeah.
can see your head bopping up and down and he's like, what is that?
Yeah.
You don't want to give people the like peripheral, like what the hell is that? Is there an animal in here? Like, why is
That's
there
the thing, right?
just a boom, 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 like thing? Yeah.
Once you turn into like a troll and you're like all of a sudden you're like trying to smurf your way in front of me, like it's not gonna work. Now you just distracted me 10 times over.
Unless you're seeing
Trolls.
the Hunchback of Notre Dame whenever they re-release it, and it's like part of your costume. That's fine.
Yeah,
Renee,
yeah.
You don't get to be mean.
Oh no. I will let that go. That can fly. Yeah, but if we're watching,
This guy
not
loves
that
cosplay more than he loves etiquette, but.
Oh, I appreciate a good cosplay for sure. Yeah, but
when Renee told me that, when I was like, oh, I thought I was being nice this whole time when I've been doing that. I'm essentially trying to do it smoothly and duckingly. And there are some situations like a sporting game. You're not actually going to be distracting people as much with movement because there's just movement all the time all around you. But if everything is static, I now see what you're talking about. You're going to notice the movement no matter what.
Yeah.
And just going, it's like when you're playing a video game, right? Like if someone's going to walk in front of you, they should just do it. Because then at least you're like adjusting to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Unless, there's all these different like nuances on airplanes versus movie, whatever.
Sure.
I think another one I'll say with the moving is if you're walking in front of people, we have a general don't talk in movie theaters rule. I try to not say sorry, but my training is to go sorry.
Sure,
sorry,
of
the
course.
whole time, or excuse me, pardon me. But you actually kind of don't want to do that because now by being polite, you're actually being more impolite. So instead, what I do is I jump the entire time and hope I don't land on someone's foot. It's like that game where you'd have a knife between the fingers. And so you just jump as high as you can and then land as hard as you can. What's so funny? Because you're going to hit someone's foot or you're not. And ideally, it's just safer. It's like when you're going through rain and you run full speed, you get less rained on. It's like that.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand that concept for sure. Yeah.
And you teleport, you're like, I'm going to land there. And then you jump full speed.
Right.
That's on them. They have to move out of the way.
Right.
Like between your legs, watch out, jump, and then land. Yeah.
And then again, by doing so, you're also vibrating the floor and making a lot of noise doing that. So it's like a perfect situation all around.
Also slurp a drink while you're doing that. No, it's just, here's a tricky one, right? If you're trying to move your feet out of the way, but now you're moving them higher, it's a weird thing. So, right, how do we do this in this medium? The chair in front of you is reclined. Your feet are here. Someone's trying to walk by you, and so you're going to go, oops, sorry. And now they're higher, and the person now has like, how do I guess I'll just shove your feet with my body.
Right.
Pulling them towards you, yes. If you're seated, if you're walking, it's just like good luck because it's a dark theater. You don't know if that's a backpack, a giant tub of popcorn, a lamp. In the case of your recent theater experience, we don't know what's there. So you're going to kind of like, you're going to kind of like just be as minimal as possible but like moving smoothly and quickly, trying to be as little of a jerk as possible. And hopefully the other people are mindful enough that they're going to like, oh, sorry. And I've even done it for like, I've seen someone do it where they're like, sorry, 1 second, my soda. Thank you for telling me because I didn't want to kick soda everywhere and have my feet sticky. Like whatever it is, everyone's going to kind of do their best in real time. And it's also a minefield. Good luck. There's not really a great solution there. Picking up your feet can be better, but not stomping them down.
Yeah.
It's just like basic, but that's pretty much like human. Like intuitively, you're going to kind of do about as good as you can do. What you don't want to do is make a big show of it and a big thing of it. Be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I kicked your. Do you mind? Like you don't need to do that in this scenario.
Right.
Everyone's kind of aware this sucks. It's going to suck for a moment. Let's just get it over with.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's no graceful way to do this, especially in the movie theater setting. Just try your best not to be like the most distracting thing if that is a situation. Because I'll never forget, there was one time I was at a movie, and this Asian girl, she was really really just trying not to be that person to annoy anyone. But whenever she walked by, she did this hunch movement and this waddle that I heard people laughing every time she came in and out, and it just became more and more of a distraction. That all of a sudden now she's part of the show. Like every time she was walking in front of us and all that. Also, if you are walking in and out an aisle, be mindful of where you put your hands too, because I've been in situations where someone grabs the back of my seat and now I'm being like rocked back and forth as this person is like trying to walk by. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's a good
Like,
point.
what was that?
Steady yourself without yanking. Like, you don't need a yanking motion to like pull yourself forward. You're not.
It's like also I'm like, it's like, whoa, for 4D. So yeah, it's just it's just
if you do that to someone, you got to make it. You got to go as their seat just gets
and splash water in my face as you do that, because now I get the full effect, and it's like, all right, now that's awesome, right? Let's talk about, okay, so some small ones, and you brought this up before, and I'll just go through these real quick because these are like really tiny things. The cell phone light thing.
On my list. Thank you.
Yeah, because I get it. It is hard to see sometimes, when you go into a theater, and if you're trying to find your seat, you have to use
when it rings and it flashes a light. Yours is not on my list.
Oh, no. Well, we can. That'll be like a nice transition to go. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I understand. Like, okay, you have to use your cell phone light, and I'm not talking about the light on your screen, like the actual LED light when you turn on the flashlight to find your seat and all that. Be mindful of how bright that shit is, because some people just go bang, and then all of a sudden you just they hold it up.
Like, wait, where's my light? Like, it's a flashlight. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna locate it by going in Renee's face, both of his eyes, gonna check the size of his pupils, and then look for my seat.
Because all of a sudden it's from
towards you and then out.
It's from it became finding your seat into now you're spelunking, and now you're like trying to light up the entire cave. It's like don't do that. Like, I remember I've had so many people that would do that, and then the best part is like they don't even know how to turn it off afterwards. So now they're fiddling, trying to turn off the light, and now I just see this light going all over the place, like we're having a disco next to me or whatever the case is. Like, just be aware, or at least know how to use your flashlight on your phone and all that. Or
if you didn't know, most cell phones can lower their brightness.
Exactly.
Like, people who did not know that have been out for years. My other trick is always point it at yourself and then move it outward minimally. So there's the lights on, no one else can see it because it's like in your chest, and then you're going to move it outward. So that way you're kind of like scanning until you get the part that you need.
Right.
And in theory, you can do a full flashlight, find your seat number without it ever being anyone's, like, they might notice the seat in front of them is brighter, but the light isn't actually like coming at them or illuminating their section.
Just be mindful, because those suckers are bright, and it could be like especially when you're in a dark theater. Now, some people, they lose stuff during the movie, like they drop something and they feel like they have to look for it immediately at that moment. So all of a sudden you will find a light just pop off here and there. Just be mindful of how distracting that could be for anybody in there. Now, we'll move on to your thing, because I also agree with this about the whole the when you get a ring or someone calls you and the light starts flashing. I hate that. I really hate that.
It is a great assisted device, and some people need it. Some people, for whatever hearing issues or vibration, etc., like there's some people who actually need this device. I get it. Other people, some people use it all the time, and I don't get that. And I mean, not even outside in the movie theater, just in life in general. I'm just seeing a strobe light come at me. Just be mindful of it. And if you have one of those phones, I'm assuming that those are like the people who back in the day still had their phone on full volume all the time, even if before there was it was like it was either silent or anyway. At some point we invented the vibrating, and it got better in D&D and all that. There were people for years. It's not that they didn't learn to silence their phone. They're like, no, people need to hear my ringtone at this restaurant. That was a thing for years, like early 2000s ish. those are the same people I think nowadays who have the full flashlight effect. You can do that, but unless you need it for as an assisted device, just be mindful of it. Like face your phone the other way when you're at the restaurant, or if you're putting it down in front of me at my table for any whatever, you're holding it and you're standing here in a line and I'm seated right then. I'm just gonna go, what? Just getting strobed out of nowhere.
Right.
It's not necessary a lot of the time, and worst cases you might miss the call and call the person back while you're at a restaurant. That's usually okay. If you're a doctor or something, like you just need every chance. Maybe there's some other times I'm not thinking, but movie theater, you're not taking that call. It's gonna be okay.
Right. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And let's stick to the subject of cell phones, because I feel like this could be a hot topic. We could just go into so many different things here.
Like technologies, man.
Yeah.
New cell phones.
What did we do?
We're still not used to them.
Yeah. What did we do before cell phones? I mean, how did we enjoy movie theaters without them? I don't know. But some people can't seem to put them down, even for like an hour and a half. But yeah, the ringtone thing, I get it. Sometimes you forget that it's a mistake, but be mindful of, when they tell you just turn off your cell phone ring and all that kind of stuff like that. Maybe that's a moment to check when you hear that prompt,
Always check.
Just check.
And if you hear a sound, here's another thing I love is when someone's like, that's not me, and it is them.
Yeah.
If you hear the sound, just double check your phone.
Just check.
That's another reminder. It might be yours. It might be a weird alarm you didn't know you'd set, or change the setting on that thing, whatever. Sometimes people accidentally click buttons. It's not you're a terrible person. You don't need to be in denial about it. No. But even if there are times I know it's not my phone and I'll still use that, make sure, and you just kind of hit the button and now it's silent, at least for my phone.
That's it. Yeah.
But also just double check and go, okay, I'm also on silent. Yeah. Just like that person now probably is, because they had a little panic. There's little reminders throughout the time. Just this is the time. We talked about it recently, the moment in Oppenheimer that's the big moment and it's silent. You don't want to have your phone going off during that. You'd be the worst person in the world.
Yeah, also I hear the
Jurassic Park song whenever the Nokia goes off.
Yeah.
Someone, can you please edit that? As soon as they release the DVD for Oppenheimer, we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, your satellite phone. Where is it?
I don't have it.
When did you use it last?
Oh my God, that'll be great. That'll be hilarious. And
we also need a cut where it's Owen Wilson going, wow. That time. That would be great.
Or
we've got some
or a lot of people use the Kill Bill thing where it's like woo.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'll be great. We got to do that.
Wow.
And if you know you're going to be using your cell phone, like if you just can't help yourself, turn your brightness down, because that's like one of the things that is just really, really annoying. My worst experience with someone using their cell phone was actually at an Alamo Draft House. So I had to use the whole system where I had to alert the guy, because it was this lady who was with her boyfriend and this boyfriend's friend, I guess. And it was one of those superhero comic book movies. I forget which one at this point. You could tell she was not into it at all, right? So what does she do from beginning of the movie? Cell phone on. And she's like playing a game. She's perusing Facebook and Instagram. Full 100% brightness this whole time. Did not once turn it off. It was on the whole time. And she's sitting next to me, like right next to me. So I have this glare this whole time. So, at an Alamo Draft House, you write on the note thing, lady next to me using cell phone, right? Person observes, all that. Then they'll say something, right? Even after saying something, she's still, because the moment they actually walked by, that's when she finally turned it off. So, of course, plausible deniability, right? Oh, it's not on. I wasn't using it. And then 5 minutes later, she's on it back again like that. And of course, homeboy doesn't say one thing. It's like, you do you, girl. You do you, boo. You can do whatever you want. So again, note written. It hasn't stopped yet. Now, I was pissed off that they didn't kick her out. because isn't it
This is
usually,
Alamo?
yeah, this is Alamo. So usually
Uh-huh.
after the second offense, that's usually when they kick her out or when they kick someone out, but no, they didn't. But lucky for me, they were warned very strictly because not I didn't notice that homeboy's friend had his feet up on the table. So she was on her cell phone the whole time. This other guy had his feet up in front of like so everyone can see and all that. So they were warned excessively, like one more time, you guys are gonna get kicked out. That's when they stopped their shenanigans and all that stuff like that. But I I don't understand why people cannot just live without their phone for like an hour and a half. If you need to get on your phone, leave. Step out of the theater, use your phone and all that. If you're not into the movie, why are you even there? Wait in the lobby, or just say, look, this is not for me. Don't make the experience miserable for the person next to you just because you're bored out of your freaking mind and all that. Plus, if you are going to use your phone, don't stick it up in front of your face like this in front of everybody. And I can see you're texting, Jeremy, that you're going to be late and all that kind of stuff like that. Or that you're swiping through Instagram or you're actually on Tinder looking for your next date or whatever the case is. Or, I don't know what you're doing and all that. I don't need to see it. And guess what? Everyone else can see it too. Like when I have to use a phone, I usually have my phone down like where my lap is, or I usually have it below if I have to check something because maybe I'm waiting for an email or whatever the case is. Or I just don't look. You know what? For 2 hours, I'm just not going to look at my phone at all. That's just me. And I wish people would be more aware that this is very troublesome. And I feel like this is like the number one complaint a lot of people have, at movie theaters is people using their cell phones and all that. These days, I don't hear so much people having conversations anymore. That was
Yeah.
one thing I
That
used to
used to be
hear
a
all
thing.
the time.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh my
Amazing.
God. It's
Amazing.
crazy. It's like, how can you do that? So what are your feelings about the whole cell phone thing?
So you've said it, and everyone kind of knows it's shitty to have a light in your face while you're trying to look at another light.
Yeah.
Behind that light, it's not fun.
Yeah.
What I will say, there's this interesting question, and we've had this debate before.
Mhm.
When do you say something to the person
Sure.
if it's not Alamo? A problem I have with the big chains, which I'm an AMC A-list member.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Nicole Kidman's work. I have the complaint that if I want to find someone
You can't.
to help with the situation, it's
Yeah.
hard to find them.
Yeah.
One, two, if I do find them, sometimes they make it very clear to me that they are not very passionate about their job because of how much
Right.
they are paid by AMC.
Right.
Which I get. I also would be like, I don't care.
Right.
Whenever it's whatever minimum wage. And I had a friend one time, his first day working on the job, he was told he'd be doing tickets, and then he had to clean the bathroom when there was a giant, horrible, horrible mess that had flooded the whole place. And he just walked. I was like, yeah, that's if you
It
don't need
sucks.
that. Yeah, it
Yeah.
sucks. It sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming the worker. And then sometimes they're like, I know what to do. I'll get my manager. And then an hour and a half later, a manager comes in. They're like, hey, that person's not on their phone anymore. What were you complaining about, sir?
Mm.
So sometimes there are times which some of these things we're talking about, I've learned a lesson from Renee tonight. There are times where the person doesn't realize, or they think the seat's bigger. They don't realize you're behind them, or maybe you weren't a moment ago. You were in the bathroom, and I do have my phone out sometimes once I've double checked certain things,
Yeah.
and then I'll hide it, whatever. But it's possible. And so usually, as we mentioned before, you can have a really quick, shitty interaction with a stranger where you go, hey, I'm sorry, your phone's out. Hey, it's like if you throw in like an apologetic tone, if you're going to go, hey, buddy, put down the phone, you're probably going to have bigger problems. It's going to be
Right.
weirder. It's going to be worse. Now you're the asshole.
Right.
But for the most part, if you just do, I have a friend, it's their policy. As soon as they see it, and it's any abnormal amount of time, not just like a check kind of thing, but the person has it out, they just go, I can see your phone, and you do it in a certain tone. It's like, I don't want to do this. And the person often will just kind of put it away and grumble, maybe. They might even go, like, they might, my bad, or might even yell something kind of shitty, but you're kind of ripping the Band-Aid off.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's like we're talking about before. There's the small chance that it gets worse, and the person goes, oh, yeah, I'm going to hold my phone as high as I can and make it brighter. Screw you, buddy. This
Right.
is my world. Welcome
Right.
to it. But then now they're the asshole. Very low odds that happens for the most part. You might even have a quick shitty interaction. I will say, if you're worried about safety for whatever the dynamic is, maybe don't talk to the manager if you need whatever. And also, when it's like a thing now, talk to the manager sooner rather than later, or else you're not enjoying the movie until you finally like, well, now it's gotten so bad, you've gotten used to it. So you're like, okay, I'll wait. If it's 10 more minutes, I usually will set up a rule for myself. Like if this is still happening in 5 minutes, then I'll do something about it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for the most part, unless you're worried about safety, just saying something quickly, it might be a weird interaction. You might be a person who's talking during the movie. People might say shh, but you can get the whole thing over with, because a lot of times what happens is everyone around you goes, thank you. They were afraid to say something. They didn't want to, and it's fine. It's over. And everyone now, turns out you're not the only person in the movie theater either. You might be saving the day for the 10 people around you also. You never know.
Right.
But generally speaking, it's usually okay to say something, especially if you're like an AMC where no one's going to do anything about it in any reasonable amount of time.
Yeah.
Maybe try it, see how it goes. See if you're able. If you're like Renee and I, where we don't like to, intrude on other people's movie experience, it might be difficult. But I have a little pact where next time it happens, I'm going to try it and see how it goes.
Yeah,
I think the friend who does it, they're like, every time it's fine. Like people don't fight. Like one time there was a guy who yelled something back shitty, and that was as bad as it was, and then it was over because the tension builds up and diffuses.
Sure. Yeah. I think you and I we made we're trying to make a conscious effort to be better at speaking up a little bit. Haven't gotten there yet, but slowly but surely. But again, I just wish we didn't have to, and I just wish more people were a little bit more aware about that kind of stuff. I would love to make a suggestion to movie theaters like AMC, Regal, and all that, because it would be nice if it was easier to kind of get help when you need it. Like Alamo, again, does have that great system where you could write down a note and all that, and there's always people looking out for notes and all that. It would be great if every theater had a specific number you could text.
Yep. US Open has that. I was going to mention that one.
Oh, okay.
US Open, and it's like kind of throughout, and it's like safety or complaints kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant, because otherwise you have to post someone outside of every bathroom if there's a flood or out of toilet paper, belligerent person, violent, possible terrorist, whatever. There's times where, like, especially in a big place like the US Open, like you might actually, there's safety concerns, see something, say something, whatever. You're like, hey, not sure if this is a thing, but there's been a bag out for a while, whatever. Like, just a text number. You just need somebody and some system. But the texting a number thing is brilliant, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Every movie theater, before the movie plays, just says, save this number in your phone.
Yep.
Step out, text us, and we'll handle it as quickly as we can.
Yeah. And from what I know, it's an easy system to implement in an establishment. Obviously, you have to get that.
You have to have at least one worker who cares. That's the problem.
Well, that's the thing.
AMC is kind of doing the least possible.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yeah, and that's true.
The fact that Times Square one has a flies in the bathroom problem and has for years is wild to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
For years.
I've seen that. Yep. It just
for like 10 years now.
They can't
flies in the bath, like a fly problem, like an infestation of flies where there's always about 10 or so. Like
it's terrible.
Where the fuck am I?
Yeah, it's horrible. But yeah, I mean, the Regal I go to, they have a dedicated security guard that's always there, and I've seen him go into random theaters just to watch the movie. But he's like checking, but then I'll catch him like laughing at whatever's happening on the screen or whatever like that, which is kind of funny. It's like, hey, dude's just hanging out and doing what he can. But like someone like that could be the guy to, like, if he gets the text message, okay, let me go check theater 3 and all that, and I want to say, after, like, when theaters started to reopen for the pandemic, some theaters did have a text like thing implemented, where I saw like a message say text 4567 or whatever like that.
Feels like an Alamo thing or something like
maybe
that.
I don't know.
I don't remember that at AMC, at least.
I feel like
I missed it.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen it, or maybe it was another situation, but it would be nice if that could be like a system they start implementing, because it'll just be nice to know that there's an easy way to get help when you need it and whatever. Hey everyone, just a quick message here that this episode is brought to you by a new shop that I just launched. That's right, popculture.shop is a new merch shop where you can not only find Low-Key Geek and eventually Movie Time merchandise, but you will find merchandise dedicated to some of the biggest things in pop culture at the moment. Whether it's movies, TV, video games, memes, or anything of the like, you'll find some of the homages to some of the biggest things that are happening currently at the time. You also eventually will find some cool retro throwbacks in here and there. The shop just launched, so bear with me. I'm filling in the inventory, but you'll find new stuff dropping every week. But to help celebrate the launch of this brand new merch shop, I'm giving all of you, the listeners, subscribers here at the Low-Key Geek channel, a nice little discount to check it out. So if you use the code LOWKEYGEEK at checkout, you'll get yourself a nice little 15% discount. So definitely check it out. This is another great way to help support the channel and show your love and support for everything that we do here. But it's also a brand new venture of my own, just going out into the retail market. So any support that you could throw our way would be greatly appreciated. So once again, that is Pop Couture, popculture.shop, popculture.shop, a shop for geeks who are chic.
For full audio episodes of the Movie Time podcast, make sure to follow and subscribe to the Low-Key Geek channel on your favorite podcast platform. New episodes are uploaded every week.